What if I told you there are these two secret white powders that look, well, they look exactly like table salt, but they're the invisible engine running pretty much everything? Today, we're going to uncover that secret, and trust me, you will never look at the world the same way again. Just think for a second about your phone, the car you drive, the fuel that powers it, even the high-tech equipment inside a hospital. They all seem totally unrelated, don't they? Well, it turns out they are all connected by this one hidden thread. Their very existence relies on these two simple powders that, yeah, you could easily mistake for salt if they were sitting on your kitchen counter. And that is the secret we're going to unpack. So our story starts with this incredible element, tungsten. Now, tungsten's superpower is that it can handle insane temperatures. We're talking heat that would turn almost any other metal into a puddle. It is the secret ingredient in so much of our modern world. But there's a catch. It's locked up tight inside rocks. So how in the world do we get it out? Well, you need a set of special keys to unlock its power. And those keys are our two magic white powders, ammonium paratungstate, or APT, and ammonium metatungstate, or AMT. So here's the plan. We'll dive into the hidden power of tungsten. I'll give you a super simple guide to tell these powders apart. We'll see how they stack up head to head, hear some amazing real-world stories, and finally, reveal the secret that really does run everything. Let's get to it. First up, how we unlock the world's toughest element. Okay, before we even get into those complicated scientific names, I want you to picture this. It's a super simple analogy that's going to make everything else make sense. I want you to think of APT as wheat, the raw grain straight from the field. And then think of AMT as flour, the refined powder you actually bake with. Simple, right? So here's the most important thing to remember. They come from the same place, but they have different levels of refinement. One is the starting point, the other is the finished product. If you can just keep this wheat versus flour idea in your head, I promise everything else is going to click into place perfectly. All right, let's properly meet our two powders, starting with the wheat. So first up is ammonium paratungstate. Let's just call it APT. This is our wheat. After you dig the tungsten ore out of the ground, this is the first major usable form you get. It usually looks like little white flaky crystals. I want you to think of APT as the industrial workhorse. It's the primary raw material, and we make tons of it because it's relatively cheap to produce. Now, a key detail here is that it doesn't really dissolve in water, and remember that because it's super important later. So what's its main job? It's the backbone for ridiculously tough materials like tungsten carbide. That's the stuff that makes drill bits hard enough to cut right through solid steel. And of course, it's the starting ingredient you need to make our flour. Which brings us to ammonium metatungstate, or AMT. This is our flour. It's a much more purified, more refined version. And just like you make flour from wheat, you almost always make AMT directly from APT. And get this, when you get AMT under a microscope, it's not just some boring old powder. A lot of the time, it's made up of these incredible, tiny, hollow little spheres. This unique structure is part of its secret sauce. It's what gives it some of its amazing properties. So if AMP is the workhorse, AMT is the high-tech specialist. It's also a white crystalline powder, but it has a superpower that AMT just doesn't. It dissolves in water like you wouldn't believe. It's this extreme solubility that makes it perfect for all kinds of precise, high-tech jobs, like creating catalysts for the energy industry, building semiconductors for our electronics, and developing all sorts of specialized coatings. Okay, so let's put these two side by side in the Great Powder Showdown and see exactly how they really stack up. This chart just lays it all out. First, just look at that solubility difference. AP, our wheat, barely dissolves, but AMT, our flour, is completely off the charts. You can dissolve 300 grams of it in just 100 milliliters of water. That's just wild. And you can see their roles are completely different. AP is the raw material, the backbone for big, heavy-duty industrial jobs. AMT is the refined, specialist product for high-tech, precision work. It really is just wheat and flour. And the relationship between them couldn't be simpler. You start with APT, the raw wheat of the tungsten world. You refine it, usually by heating it up in a very controlled way. And out comes AMT, our super soluble flour, ready for a whole new world of specialized uses. Okay, theory is great, but where does this stuff actually show up in our world? Let's get into some real-life stories where these powders are the secret heroes hiding in plain sight. So why should you care about any of this? Well, here's why. For tough tools, our wheat, APT, is the starting point for those drill bits that build our skyscrapers. For cleaner fuel, our flour, AMT, acts like a magician's assistant in oil refineries, helping to make the cleaner gasoline that powers your car. In smarter tech, its amazing ability to dissolve lets us create the impossibly thin films that are crucial for the electronics in your phone. And it even fights pollution by helping create catalysts that literally pull harmful stuff out of factory smoke before it hits the atmosphere. It is everywhere. And now it's time for the final piece of the puzzle. The secret that really does run everything. The big wow moment I think you've been waiting for. So where does all this high-tech flour actually go? The answer is pretty mind-blowing. A massive 70% of all the AMIT produced in the world is used for just one thing, being a catalyst. Yeah, its main job is to be a chemical matchmaker, speeding up reactions that give us things like cleaner fuel and cleaner air. But here's a twist. The supply of these incredibly important powders isn't spread out evenly across the globe. The whole system relies heavily on just a handful of suppliers, with China being by far the biggest player. This concentration has huge implications for technology and industry all over the world. So let's bring it all back home. Remember our analogy. APT is the wheat, raw, affordable, the heavy-lifting industrial backbone. And AMT is the flour, refined, specialized, the high-tech pioneer. They're two sides of the same coin, and our modern world literally could not exist without them. So, now that you're in on the secret of the two white powders, I've got a question for you. Just look around you, right now, wherever you are watching this. How many things do you think have tungsten hiding inside them? The answer is probably way more than you think.